Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, the Twisted in the Twilight, where things are going, like, not great for the Dark Elves. They're having some problems here. Fortunately, this stuff is all going to conclude pretty quickly, I think. Unfortunately, I made a series of grievous strategic and tactical errors in other portions of the world, and we're going to have to rebuild our strength and our strategy a little bit outside of this. Absolutely. They haven't taken damage yet. They will take damage over this next turn. I think there's a pretty good chance that they will ride out and fight us in the field before they will accept the attrition damage. So we'll probably get a field battle out of this, which I would expect us to win pretty cleanly. We have defeated Dark Elf forces of this size with this army on many occasions, and in fact, in those circumstances, they even often had like a legendary lord or something leading them for all the extra buffs. This should be much easier. Alright, do we want to just completely disband this army and rebuild elsewhere? I think so. I don't think it's worth trying to rebuild in this place. So let's disband. You are fired, and you are fired. That does keep him alive. It's worth noting. If he had actually been defeated in battle, there would be, we would have lost that character permanently after all the hard work we put into to build him up. Oh, that's right. We don't really have a lot of recruitment stuff here. I was going to build recruitment stuff here, and then it ended up feeling like we didn't need it. So I guess maybe. Where do we want to put this army together? Do we want to put it together back at the Witchwood, or do we want to do it near the Oak? Here at the Witchwood, we're still working toward the dragons, but we have quick access to tree men and actual good archers and basic infantry. Whereas at the Oak, I believe we're missing the cavalry building or something? What do we got in the Kingsblade? No, we have cav and trees and archers. And next turn we'll be able to... Oh no, we can already bring in the good archers. Next turn we'll be able to bring in the good wild riders as well. I guess if we were going to put together an army to be led by a tree man, this is an okay place to do it. I don't know that it matters too much, honestly. They're fairly similar. Yeah, I guess let's do it over here because we haven't built a lot of cavalry. I haven't actually used all that much cav. And neither one of these places... Well, here we can't get any eagles. We do like eagles. I should be using more eagle riders. Yeah, let's do it in the Witchwood. Alright, so... We do have a couple of lords just sitting around, don't we? Where's my... Vilgan and Othiodi. Sadly, although these characters already exist, they're at lower levels than we now hire in Spellweavers. So if we wanted a Spellweaver, we'd just get a new one. We won't be able to call in Otrolio for 5 turns, but we could call in some other Tree Lord, just have them do the basic recruitment and then replace them with Otrolio afterward. I think that's what we're going to do. So we don't really care... Yeah, it doesn't much matter what your deal is, because you are temporary anyway. Can we pick up... Do we have access to anything that increases the rank of recruited soldiers? Okay, we can... We do not have points enough to get to open branches, sadly. Yep, and none of this stuff has any effect on recruitment. So I guess, I don't know, in theory, if we ever wanted to use you, we'd want you to have these points. But again, you mostly serve as a canvas for us to paint a cool army onto. So, like, for sure, let's get another tree man in here. I like a big tree army. We definitely want to pull in some hawk riders as well. Do we want to use the global pool for that? They're fairly expensive troops. We probably want to just grab the hawk riders this way, and then we'll do like... Man, our global recruitment pool is huge now. And some dryads, right? How many units of archers do we want? We have 6 units here that basically have no immediate ground presence. I think that's okay for the moment. Let's throw a couple units of Treekin in here too, so now we have all of our recruitment slots tied up for 2 turns. And I mean, I think we're still going to need to keep an eye on what's going on down here, so I am going to continue to send these 2 in that direction. I'm not really concerned about Hellebron. Let's continue to move this way. Honestly, Helenor's army probably can't even take back the empty Cowarch. You, I guess, push further east. We gotta figure out where the remaining Dark Elf forces are, if there are any. Alright, so here's where the sword is. It would be kind of cool if I could get that sword. I don't think it's the kind of thing that we need to, like, stress too much about. There are certainly downsides. Like I said, it is a cursed sword, but it's, yeah, we'll see if it looks like it might be possible for us to grab it. And then you are gonna just continue toward, where the hell is Lorelorn from here? There's Lorelorn. Yeah, this way. Oh, right, sorry, you probably don't actually want to be in underground mode. Okay, so that's a few turns of running. There's some distance to cross there. But obviously we don't want to deep-root him because we want to deep-root the other army that we're recruiting at the Witchwood over to Gaean Vale when the time comes. Okay, we're just going to grab the rest of these technologies. I've been playing in a very safe way, not necessarily a way that is designed to maximize our resource, our forests healed per turn. We could probably have finished this campaign in a much shorter way, especially if we had decided to not get involved in long military campaigns. But, you know, you do play the game to get into battles. So, unfortunately, we are unlikely to be able to help very much with Tlaqua, and I think there's a pretty good chance they're just going to wipe out the Dune Kingdoms. Oh, Malekith wants to show up. So, this is their plan. Wait for reinforcements. Unfortunately, Malekith cannot assist from the water. So, we just attack them this turn. I'm sure their the attrition damage that their army has taken from being trapped in the city will... I think it's pretty severe. It's a thing you don't really get to see all that often, because most forces cannot reduce the timer anywhere near as much as we have reduced it. So we'll just take them out, and then... I don't know, we might end up just sacking the place and running away instead of burning it down, so that we can fall back away from the coast, depending on how badly the battle goes. Because I will not, after all this time and all of these successes, lose a battle to Malekith. I can't imagine how I would ever live down the shame.
Lord.
Okay, we are doing a great job on Athelloren's health.
Harmony shall reign.
So,
Their disharmony ends.
yeah, wow. A single turn of that siege damage was very significant. You know what? I'll just take that auto resolve. Alright, so if we burn it down, we're not going to be able to move back to friendly territory. If we occupy it, we're stuck in the settlement while Malekith attacks. I think I am just going to sack it for the moment. We're going to fall back to friendly territory and, as you might imagine, set up an ambush. We'll just go invisible over here.
Merge with shadow.
We'll let Malekith come out, and then we'll crush him and burn Harganeth down. So we have all of our magic points now. I guess we may as well grab these, even though they're not very impressive. Dodan is still pretty far from the thing. Do they have an army waiting for us at the Palace of Ruin? No, I mean, we can see an awful lot of Dark Elf troops right now. It may well be the case that what we can see is all that remains. Let's go see about Shagrath. Also, man, there are a lot of settlements in this, this like, thin upper peninsula here.
Hail Colonels.
Kind of a huge bummer, actually. Okay, I would love it if you would stop chasing me around. Alright, you need to get better at assassinating people. It's very important. This is just some glade captain. I don't even know who we're looking at here. Okay, one of the ones in Orion's army. Just go ahead and upgrade our whatever, and then... How are we doing with the Briar Maiden? $68 trending downward. Well, that'll never do. Unfortunately, the AI forgets about your gifts very quickly. Okay, trending toward 104 is better. Obviously, when we kill Malekith, we're going to make an awful lot of money off of that. When we burn Harganeth, we're going to make a fair amount of money. The sacking will reduce the value, obviously. And then we're going to make some money fighting defensive battles for these rituals. That's something. But I don't know that we're going to be able to afford continuing to pump out bribes at this level. I guess Tlaqua lost their armies? They're showing as very weak on the balance of power chart. Oh, interesting plan. He's just going to go take some settlements down here if he's losing everything in the north. I mean, I guess that works. Okay, they took over Harganeth for us. That's good. I guess I just chase Malekith. I don't know that there's a lot of value to me being in the north anymore. The AI seems to have it under control. Dwarf stuff in the mountains is burning down. Probably not super relevant to my problems. So, there is a long-term answer, potentially, to the problem of the Border Princes being friends with all of our friends and owning this forest. What's up? You want a military alliance? Absolutely not. Never, ever. They're still at war with Tlaqua. They are at war with the Bowmen now. Oh, this would be a good time. This would be a good time for me to be down there and able to do stuff. Maybe we will, maybe we'll put off some of the rituals and send the tree army back down to the desert. Recruitment cost down and recruit rank up. This is actually like a uniquely good time for this buff. Valnal is, I guess, actually pretty low on relevant skill points to take already. I have no idea how many cities are up on this side. I just don't come to this part of the map very often. Alright, we're getting a pretty good image of this massive orc nation. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. That's a lot of troops. You can press all the way over to here. So that's a black arc, not a real army, right?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's got all the bombarding stuff. Based on the fact that it says Admiral, you know? Well, you're probably not going to successfully assassinate that guy. Why are you so weak? You are also at war with the dwarves of Karaza Karak. But I mean, they're not anywhere nearby. But right now, they're showing us having, like, no armies at all. They would be willing to accept peace at this point. And the territory they have here is not one of the Heathlands. So maybe that's fine? Let's see, you're showing a strength rank 57. What about the skeletons? 47. Maybe the Dune Kingdom guys can just wipe them out without me. I'm just thinking, if we come down here, it might be best if my army was not at war with them so that I could focus on the woods guys. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it for now, I guess. Let's see if we can get vision over here. I want to I want you to head back in this direction and figure out what on earth is going on with the Dune Kingdoms being at war with the Bowmen. Like, is anything happening on this front at all? Because it's weird, right? It's weird that all of a sudden they're at war, but, like, nothing actually seems to be happening in that war. There's no combat occurring. One thing that I really wish they would fix is the Recruit Regiments of Renown button is grayed out if you don't have any Regiments of Renown currently available to recruit, but the indicator on this screen is the only way to know how many turns are left on the revival cooldown of any of your Regiments of Renown. So, like, we know that we have several that died and that we're waiting for them to return, but we don't get to know how long it's going to be until at least one of them does return, which is a real bummer. So I don't know what we might be... I don't know how long we might be waiting on that. Let's grab some Blade Singers, probably. They seem to be pretty good, and they stand up in melee pretty effectively, even though that's not what they're for, and it's definitely not how I should be using them. And then, now we have access to some better ranged units. I mean, I say better, like... There's a lot to be said for the fact that that Glade Guard are just super fast and really, really cheap. But we're not having a ton of money problems right now. Like, if we straight up compare... Here, let's say compare the base version of this to the base version of that. The Deepwood Scouts have a little bit more movement speed. They have a little bit more range. They do still shoot while firing. Or, sorry, they do still shoot while moving. But they're a little bit softer in actual direct combat. And there's no version of these guys that has poison. Oh, that's not what I wanted. What we do have is a version of these guys that has magical arrows. What do the Swift Shiver Shards actually do? Ah, the unit can fire 2 at a time, so they're shorter ranged, but they hit much harder. That's interesting. As a master ambusher unit. I think I probably want to recruit some more Treekin here. This army is short on cavalry. I had to be honest with you, the Zotes didn't seem to be a good solution to a lot of the problems we were facing. What this army does not really have problems with is large stuff, right? So we don't really need an anti-large unit. Maybe we should pick up more cav? We do have access to, like, some fancy stuff. Sisters of the Thorn, which are spellcasting units with, how big of a bonus here? Only 5 bonus versus large. And they have poisonous ranged attacks, which is, you know, that's fine. Or we could get some, like, Great Stagnites, some, like, really hard charging cavalry. Who also have a very small bonus versus large, but just, like, a ton of armor piercing. Which matters a lot. That's very valuable. I think I'm going to get more stand-and-fight tree-type units. Do we want to pull in, like, a little bit more diversity here, maybe? You know what? Let's grab some shorter-ranged, harder-hitting. I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if we're going to have an easy time maintaining cohesion with this force. We have a little bit less, like, infantry meat than I would like, but I mean, we'll hit hard. There's something to be said for murdering all of your enemies as a viable offense, or as a viable defense, rather. Obviously, it's pretty good as offense goes. Yeah, I guess let's just charge over here. So I think I think it's better for us to wait near Nagarond than to try to follow them into the water. So we got 2 turns left on recruitment of the Tree Army. We should be able to swap the proper Lord into control of that army right after recruitment finishes. Then we can have them go and either do the thing in the Southern Forest or flip Gaian Vale, We're about to get the rebirth, the ritual of rebirth going in Lorelorn. We still need to figure out the forest to the south, the forest like way down in the southwest jungle, and obviously the one that is currently controlled by the Border Princes, and then we just continue to hopefully get the Briar Maiden of Woe on our side. Boy, Malekith has a lot of movement. So enough movement to disembark from a ship, attack a city, and then just kind of run around back and forth like a chicken with his head cut off. Well, hopefully we'll be able to reach him and actually cut his head off. I don't know if the AI actually checks the movement ranges of your armies before determining how far they need to move. Or if they just, like, they have sort of a generalized sense of how far away is safe. Like, they know they should try to be 10 game units away or whatever. I'm hoping it's the latter, because our army has so much more movement than armies usually have that we would be underestimated. Also, I can't believe he didn't, like, take Heg Grey for anything, especially if he didn't have enough movement to get away from it. Like, why only move this far?
Itching for fresh battle.
Yep, and in fact, he was not able to escape from us. He might have been able to if he didn't do that thing where he ran in the wrong direction first. Well, this should be a totally trivial victory. I mean, this is a pretty elite army, but still, it's just Malekith.
Choosing safety. Ariel grants clemency.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to insult anyone whose name is Malekith, but it's just Malekith. Yes, please, perfect my Twilight Helm. All allies in range are immune to psychology, and 6% physical resistance is a pretty good effect.
Why grant Nestra tools of war?
Alright, I think that is it for relevant skill points on you. So what do we want to do with these guys? Do I even care to move back up here? I probably don't, right? I guess the only question is, do I think that my allies are capable of finishing the job?
Protector of the forest.
Because sometimes the AI gets confused, they get distracted, they wander off and start doing something else. We should probably make sure the thing actually gets done.
The Sisters of Twilight. Looking for a fight.
So yeah, we'll go back up there and make sure that gets closed. I'll just get right at the edge of the river so we can ford it next turn. Crossing a river in a place where you do not have like a bridge or something is very expensive in terms of movement. Who would have thought?
Forest is whispering.
I suppose one thing we could be doing is, boy, this looks real bad, huh? I mean, I guess they do have King Inithor here. They have one full stack, but this is potentially really dangerous for our allies. I'm not at war with these guys, right? No, they don't like me, but we're not actually at war. And frankly, we'd almost be positive with them if we weren't friends with the Dune Kingdoms. We could maybe end up flipping that.
Waiting.
Let's see if we can push Tlaqua off of us, or at least, you know, get some experience points for trying. It's true, we do have some damaged buildings. Let's fix that.
Seasons smile upon us.
And how's the Briar Maiden feeling this turn? Where am I relative to that forest? Here we go. Man, cannot get this to light up at all. I'm trying to buy my way into another point of treaties so that we can get that that treaties with the Wargrove of Woe thing up, so we can have a higher resting point for our influence in the future. But this is just a total nightmare. Maybe if we made friends with the dwarves. If I were to make friends with the dwarves, we would definitely get a modifier out of that. They do not want to be friends. I mean, we're trending pretty northward. Yeah, I don't really want to have to resolve this with violence, but it's looking more and more like we may have to resolve this with violence. eventual violence, because, I mean, obviously right now that's not, like, super viable. Alright, in 5 turns. In 5 turns we have dragons. And on our next turn we finally begin the ritual. So I'm trying to remember. It was not the case that we got like a climactic spawn at the end of the ritual or anything last time, right? When we did the ritual in the Witchwood, it spawned three things that we had to interact with quickly, and then once we dealt with those, we didn't have to worry about it anymore after that. So I guess there's not really anywhere for him to go, because the deep roots are going to be on cooldown by the time he finishes his thing. But it may be the case that we could just have him run off and do something else after we clean up the initial wave of enemies. Maybe we have him start moving to the south to threaten the border princes. Ooh, that's an embarrassing failure. Well, my allies are not doing so hot. And now I gotta deal with these assholes. Alright. Begin the ritual. Unlocks the construction of the Verdant Heart of Lorelorn, allowing requirement of archers, or allowing recruitment of archers, removing... Oh, this one does not remove any kind of attrition. It does give us a big boost to trade income, which is not super relevant for us. Alright, the enemies, they are mustering, etc. Although these ones are considerably further apart. I mean, I guess we should go for these two first, right? Since they're actually kind of close together. Okay. It looks like we might actually be able to interact with that one this turn. Let's grab this for you. So it's a hex that lowers the missile resistance and locks an enemy in place. 3 uses of it on a 90-second cooldown. That's actually really powerful.
Orion, setting forth.
Do you make it? Oh, no, it looks like there's a little bit of red on the arrow, so we won't make it far enough to activate this. Okay, we can get 2 of those pretty quickly. We may as well sail over there, I guess.
With grace.
Right, we can grab whatever this is on the way. The fact that we own the port here means we don't have to use the beach to embark or disembark, which means it costs way less movement. Let's grab some mushroom stew. We're gonna scavenge mushroom stew from a ship that's sinking? Okay. Whatever, I don't know what elves eat. Okay, 10 turns of a 25% physical resistance buff. That seems pretty alright.
A season of peace. A season of waste.
I like the way one of the 2 Sisters of Twilight pretends to like peace, and the other one is constantly smacking that down. She's like, come on. Come on, we all know what we're doing here. I guess you don't really need to continue that way. We've kind of got that direction scouting under control.
Glory to the hunter god.
Have I finally found the easternmost settlement?
Onward.
Hard to know. I don't feel like we know that yet. Can you assassinate this guy? No. No, you're just kind of bad at assassinating. Well, keep trying. There you go. You get it eventually. Right, and we're trending downward with the Briar Maiden now. Yeah, only down to 65. It's not so bad. But I think we're just gonna save up money for a while then. If we can't seem to make any headway. Alright, what's his name? Otrolio is going to be available next turn. Do I want to just sit here and wait? Make sure he is with us when we go forth. I think I am going to do that. And then we'll Wildwood out. Because I can't remember. I think you can't change lords.
Will follow.
Or you can't... Well, no, that can't be true. You must be able to do it just about anywhere. Whatever. We're gonna sit and wait for a turn just in case. It's not like there's any big hurry for us to report to the southern woods. I wonder how Tlaqua and these men feel about each other. Because that looked like a pretty aggressive move to me. I would have thought they'd be friendly on account of having common enemies. But maybe not. You know, that the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing does not apply as widely as people might like, and it certainly does not apply in Warhammer, where everybody is everybody's enemy. All of the time, forever. Okay, more men of the Empire declaring war on the Norskins. I'm kind of surprised there are any Norskins left, frankly.
When do we fight? Only when necessary.
Alright. We got people performing various rituals. We don't have access to rituals with this faction. So the Tomb Kings have... Huh. So any enemies... I thought that... Oh, sandstorms have engulfed their entire territory. I thought I remembered that this incantation had a target, that you had to pick a province. But okay, just great big sandstorms all over their territory. That's a little annoying. It does actually affect us. But fortunately, we had already committed to traveling via the water anyway. It does look like the progress against the Dark Elves has slowed somewhat. Oh, hey, it's an admiral who might charge us. I'm confident we would win this battle, even with our troops in a tired state. I'm not 100% sure why sailing faster makes you tired from like an in-game, like a diegetic standpoint. Obviously, there are balance reasons that it makes sense.
Lauren above all,
It's just March mode on the water, right?
safeguarding the route.
Okay. Pretty sure this is, in fact, the easternmost settlement on this landmass. So now what? Go harass these guys. Actually, you're going to be too tired to get anything done. Go stand over here and wait for your turn.
Treading silently. To serve.
Alright, Orion, let's do some battling. Okay, we score an ambush. Wow, this is a pretty impressive Chaos Army. They got a Frostworm and some Ice Giants and a bunch of Famir. Whole lot of Marauder guys who actually know how armor works. I'm surprised that that goes down that easily for us.
Onward.
Alright, we've destroyed that fake little Norskin faction. And I took the replenishment because we are just rolling right into another battle here, right? So what was I doing with you? I think we were going to push up the blue line, maybe? So we have his hounds. We could eventually learn Deadly Onslaught. He could also pick up Never-Ending Hunt, which does seem pretty alright. So the cooldown's down on his powerful abilities. Extra uses for Hawk's Talon, double ammo. He doesn't... Yeah, I guess he doesn't really have that much ammunition to start with, does he? Construction cost down. Construction cost and time down for recruitment buildings in all provinces is like fine. Ambush stuff. Plus 5,000 forest spotting. This character becomes able to see enemies hiding in the forest regardless of distance. That's okay. That's interesting, I guess. We have not had a lot of problems so far with enemies hiding in trees during battles, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that could be okay. I'm going to grab some blue line stuff with him. I do think we want another Lord with Lightning Strike. Plus, you know, ambush chance. Who doesn't love a little ambush chance? You get to... I guess just pick up some of this stuff. Basic combat abilities, because these characters are built in kind of a silly way.
I live to serve Ariel.
Alright, let's pick this one up too before it can get too ugly. This is a less impressive Chaos Army, although they do have 2 Frost Dragons. And a whole bunch of mammoths. A war mammoth with a war shrine on it has like a big platform built on its back that they, I don't know, play cool rock music from.
Away I go.
The Norskin equivalent of the Doof Warrior is up there. Alright, so next level... Yeah, quest will automatically begin at rank 18. Next level we will be able to begin pursuing our magic spear. You get to grab the other point of piercing shots, which seems fine. And then, unfortunately... Well, we are going to be able to make it back to ally territory, so we will be able to get some replenishment going. But Orion does not replenish nearly as quickly as the sisters. Alright, let's do this. We are going to replace you with Tree Singer Otrolio. A mighty singer of trees indeed. And now, we make the decision. Do we want to go and cap out this place, or do we want to return to here now that these guys are actually at war with the Dune Kingdoms? They're not leaving their forest for anything, though. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to worry about this. Let's just world route these guys over to here. Oh. Okay, well, I guess we can't start that ritual right now anyway. Well, that's fine. You just chill in this forest for a while. Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't matter too much. It is a little bit of a shame, though, that you can't rush a ritual down by, Oh, wait, did I give the sisters orders that turn? I must have, right? Because otherwise they would have asked.
I have no patience for the fancy folk of Ulth-1.
Still a no on that. We are never, ever accepting a military alliance.
You have proven yourself an...
These guys would like peace, and I think we may just have to accept it. I think the Dune Kingdoms might be dead, and it may be the case that there's nothing we can do about that. I would like a counter offer. Nah, never mind. I'm not going to try to weasel money out of them. I just don't think we care, and they don't really have much of an economy. Okay, Admiral Tomalak did not choose to attack us, which I think is smart. I'm pretty sure he would have lost that battle. Torgovan was destroyed. Who? Okay, we need to look into that. The Golden Order over on the Eastern Continent has, in this moment of historic Dark Elf weakness, decided that they are finally willing to stand up against the Dark Elves. I mean, was it Bretonnians who did it? Because if it was, that's not great. I mean, honestly, if they just burned down the that part of the forest, I think that's okay. I don't really care that much about that. Yep, that quest sure was aborted on account of Torgovan no longer exists. So do we just go back to Lorelorn? We're not going to have time to reach these guys anyway. I guess we may as well. Just underway over here and heal up real quick. Okay. What the hell just happened in Torgovan? The dwarves took it over. Where did a dwarf army even come from? There are no settlements that belong to Karazakarak anywhere around here. Why did they just... Okay. Whatever. I guess I don't care about that, but it's very weird. Let's do some normal movement. Perhaps up to here.
To row.
Oh hey, we found all the Dark Elves. Also, I thought I had left myself more ability to, or
The sisters march.
more movement than I had. So apparently we're going to have to break this down. Their plan is just gather all remaining Dark Elves in the same place. You should just, like... There's got to be an agent in one of these armies, right?
I refuse.
Why will he not target...
I cannot follow these orders.
I'm not trying to target Malekith. I'm trying to target this other flag here. Okay, no agents in that army, nor that army, nor that army. Well, okay, just pick one and do some damage then. I mean, really all we're looking for is XP on Valnal.
Forest is whispering.
He is unlikely to accomplish anything of great import with his very low level. Alright, Dodan is also in need of some help here. So I guess we don't actually need 2 heroes down here anymore if we're just kind of giving up on this conflict. I do think we will keep one nearby to look for opportunity to sweep down and just grab the forest.
I will go.
Yeah, boy, I sure hope the sisters don't end up getting... I mean, we probably wouldn't lose. If they brought all of those Dark Elves out to attack us, it would be ugly, but honestly I still think there's a chance of us winning, because it's a bunch of people we have dunked on over and over and over and over again for a long time. Yeah, I did want to investigate. You have no particular feelings about these dudes. Okay, they don't like each other, but they're not at war or anything. Well, alright, it's gotten complicated, and it's, at this point, none of my business. So you're just gonna sit here and wait your turn for this. Yep, I guess so. Hey, here's a question. Do we want to change the balance of Orion's army? Do we have... yeah, we do have a cavalry building here, and we know we want Wild Riders. Oh, right, I underway moved. Can't do any recruitment while we're in underway stance. We might want to, like, if we're only talking about, like, 1 turn worth of recruitment here, it may well be the case that it's worthwhile to reform his army a little bit and get some Wild Riders in there while we're waiting for the invasion army to approach. Because remember, they're not going to be able to run straight at us. They're going to have to take kind of a weird route around, because Lorelorn Forest is, like, horseshoe-shaped. Alright, the fact that we have Lightning Strike enables us to actually attack a group of armies like this and just smash them one by one, as if you needed another one. This is one very good reason not to have 3 different armies that are all 60% full and taking turns recruiting units. As it turns out, it actually doesn't provide very much defense against any army that knows what they're doing. Boy, I sure hope these... I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. I was about to say, I sure hope these dwarves don't just burn down the entire forest, faction by faction. But I guess we got the confederation that we're going to get. So, we've run out of gifts from Daith. Let's start with... Let's go Daith's Grind. He can sharpen the tips of our arrows for 5 turns.
Inseparable.
We might get into a fight or two, is what I'm thinking. It might be worthwhile. So the city itself is pretty weak. Let's just shear off some of these armies that are sitting nearby. Unfortunately, Hellebron's army is actually inside the settlement, and we won't be able to grab her. Lightning Strike.
Fight for the forest.
We lost almost nothing.
Ariel's will.
We might want to actually manual these, because I don't know if you saw that there, but almost 100% of the damage dealt to us in that battle went on to our archers, despite the fact that that doesn't make any sense and could not have happened.
Fight.
So yeah, let's go ahead and manual this one just so that we don't end up with our archers taking all of the damage again. Because we do need our units of archers to be relatively healthy. They are probably the most important units in the army. I mean, obviously, aside from the characters. So we'll knock this out with few or maybe even actually no losses. And then we might press on Hellebron, or honestly, we might just back off. The most important thing right now is just making sure that making sure we reduce the number of Dark Elves. And then we can let our allies do the other part. I don't know that there's a lot of strategy that we really need to apply here. They don't have... yeah, they don't have much in the way of ranged units. We can play pretty far forward. The Hawk Riders should also be up here. And then we got, like... I guess the cavalry probably shouldn't be on the forested side. This is going to be kind of annoying for our cav. We are not going to get to do the things we would like to do with them. Alright, so first of all, yeah, this one, give me an Arcane Conduit, and then, I mean, we may as well just start throwing up spells immediately, right? Okay, you clearly need to move forward a little bit. I thought she was going to be fine back there. You lot, just kill the enemy ranged as quickly as possible. We'll have the Hawk Riders blast the other unit of enemy ranged. Get me Gwendolor. Okay, as soon as we get rid of those enemy archers, obviously it'll be trivial for us to close this up with just the flying units. Get them.
Sisters of Twilight!
No, don't move forward. Attack. There we go.
Queen Ariel! Quell Isha!
Oh, right. I didn't actually tell these units to move forward. Well, do so. Sorry, not you. You move up to, like, here. I am totally just letting them attack me with a Manticore. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a little bit me just going, who cares about Manticores? Manticores aren't dangerous. But, you know, you still shouldn't let things attack your archers. So yeah, you can see here a little bit of what I was talking about. The Manticore breaks instantly. U-Lot should probably back up. Gwendolor looks like he is somehow losing while fighting... oh, because Blackguard, whatever. Gwendolor is not a real unit. It kind of doesn't matter what happens to him. Alright, you guys do that. Let's get a couple of units of melee in on that, actually. U-Lot. Charge this way. Yeah. And then I'm going to have my Lord dive down here and grab these guys, I think. Ariel can help with that. Ariel is not needed to continue shooting at the things she was shooting at. And poor penetration and weak against armor is pretty rough. Like, there's not a lot of Dark Elf units that you want to shoot a thing that is weak against armor at, unfortunately. So those guys broke permanently. These guys are temporarily broken. Yeah, it's fine. Ah, damn their spellcasting. They gave up before we even landed on them. Alright, well, get out of melee mode and I guess just get back in the air and we'll go after the Lord. Yeah, okay, we're still taking a beating from their magic, unfortunately. Losses to magic are much harder to counter. So 52 losses. We did outperform the auto resolve, probably. Remember, this battle would have been slightly harder than the one we just did because there's a larger number of units here. But you know, we didn't outperform it by very much. Probably that was probably not actually worth the time we spent doing it. I kind of can't believe we still have units in this army who are not in the gold ranks, but I guess Eternal Guard don't get a lot of opportunities to get kills. So we know that a big army did just move away from this settlement, which is the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause about just attacking Crone Hellebron's massive army inside the settlement right now. Because if we end up fighting a battle where we take a bunch of losses, and then, Malekith just sweeps back in, obviously it would be bad. So Malekith was waiting just nearby in ambush mode. He was trying to learn from our tricks. Unfortunately, he did it in such a way that we were able to fight an army inside of his ambush range. Somehow without him... Oh, right, because I lightning striked. He would have shown up as... He was not on the reinforcement list, but he would have shown up to the battle as reinforcements if I hadn't lightning striked. So actually, it turned out to be pretty relevant. So let's see. You are an admiral. You are Crone Hellebron inside the city? Yeah, her army... She does not have a representation on the map. So we're stuck inside the city's zone of control. We can attack and then break siege to fall back. I think that's what we gotta do. I don't want to be in this far. Okay, so now we're outside the city's zone of control with a little bit of movement left. We could use this to just, like, back off to somewhere nearby. Like here. And ambush. Or we could push Malekith. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to take that. That's a pretty easy one. And then we'll push Omer in as well. Did she already fall back this turn? She did. She cannot do anything about this.
Harmony has prevailed. Make it quick. Make them scream.
Alright, let's grab a little buff here.
The Sisters of Twilight.
And we have how much movement left? I don't know. It's not...
Twin defenders of the glades.
You're supposed to get a... Okay, 11. Not enough movement range to adopt the stance because it doesn't actually... I think there might... I wonder if they have got that number set wrong internally. And it's actually like 12% or something that it requires. Because we've seen that thing happen a bunch of times now. I don't know. Cleanse Corruption, I guess. We'll take 2 points of Cleanse Corruption as her final skill points. I mean, she's really never going to be a map action hero. She is going to be in this army. Okay, so we're weaker than we've been in quite some time. And they do have a nearly full-sized army that could run out and get us.
All hail Kurnos. Blocking pathways.
There's not a lot we could do about it, and frankly, I'm not too concerned. Like, even if we did end up losing that army, it probably wouldn't save them. They're locally weak enough that they're still probably going to get killed by our allies. And while we would lose a number of rank 9 units, which is really a bummer, all of our characters are well over the immortality threshold, so we would get all of them back eventually. Alright, Solace, yeah, pretty much just keep an eye on right here where you are, honestly. I'm going to have him attack Agents of Orion's army just to get XP, I guess. I don't know that we really have a lot else to do. The Beastbinder, let's go talk about this.
You have my spear.
So the army spawned. We don't know where they are. We can't actually see them. But they probably can't reach us this turn, right? Because they were spawning all the way out here. We do have a turn here where we could recruit some Wild Riders. Wild Riders with shields have 79 charge bonus on top of 40 melee attack. So yeah, when they land that charge, it's pretty impressive. They're coming in at rank 6. I think we should do this. Let's drop some other stuff. We probably could afford to drop a couple units of Glaive Guard for this, even if they are very high level Glaive Guard.
King in the woods.
All right, get me 2 of these. His army should be tilted more cavalry than that, but we'd have to kind of reconfigure the whole thing, and we may not have time for that right now. Unfortunately, once we have dispelled all threats and there's no longer any concern of the ritual being interrupted, it still won't auto-complete the ritual. We're still going to have to actually wait out the rest of the timer before we can start the other ritual. Okay, Hellebron does just want to do this. Well, I suppose this will be a good sort of capstone to to the week's Warhammering. I think we can win this. Like I said, it's not the end of the world if we don't. She's got a lot of Blackguard, and that's certainly dangerous. She's got 4 units of other range. She's got a couple units of Cold One Dread Knights, which are very dangerous against us because we're pretty light on the ground. We have spear units, and the spear units will do good work against them, but if we don't catch them with the spear units and they get into the cavalry, or they get into the archers or something, it'll be really bad. And they got a couple of big dragons, but big dragons are a little overrated. I'm not too worried about that part. So we want to take advantage of a position where I guess it's all just kind of empty land. I was going to say, like, we'd like to take a position where they don't have any cover from the arrows, but we have some kind of break against their ability to cavalry charge us. But no such position exists, really. So I guess we'll just take up the, like, local high ground here. I'm not really worried. Let's set you guys up right in front. I'm not really worried about them trying to outrange us. Actually, I'm going to have the Eternal Guard... Here, let's have the Eternal Guard at the sides so that we can easily turn them to receive cav charge, and then you guys spread out across the front. And then we have our own cavalry unit, which I think is probably not going to get a lot of play here. We don't want to be too aggressive with the position of our flyers, because they do have some ranged. But I want to sort of cant the whole army to the side, I think. Ariel can be down here. The Dryads... We don't want the Dryads up front receiving charges or anything. Yeah, let's just do this for right now. Okay, don't entirely understand why they chose to start all the way back there, but it's fine. Let's... Do we want to open with volleys? Let's open with volleys on one of the dragons. Oh, right. For some reason, I'm not allowed to tell these units to all volley at the same time, despite the fact that they do all have the ability. Oh, that's Hellebron. You know what? We should probably actually have everybody focus on Hellebron. That's a good point. You also focus on Hellebron. Wow. That's a pretty impressive range for that. Okay, that's kind of cool. The projectiles that missed swung down and actually did hit the things that were on the ground behind her. So that's pretty neat. Let's Eagle Quiver her as well. Okay, one of those made contact. Alright, so how far... Let's have the flyers back up a little bit. If that dragon wants to engage, I want it to have to engage in archer range.
Awaiting orders.
And it sure does look like it's just going to wander right in. Okay, he took a single volley and ran. Okay, they got their own spellcasting coming in. We are close enough that we can start harassing them with the low-cost spells. And I'm I should probably summon Gwyndolor, huh? No reason not to bring Gwyndolor in. So do we want to move people forward just a little bit and keep focus up on that dragon? Or maybe we want to turn and focus hard on the Dread Knights or something? So we definitely need to be shooting. So maybe move you in a little bit. I don't actually like that positioning for you all that much. And it's kind of looking like we're not going to need to guard this flank, although I guess they're bringing the chariots up this way. I'm going to have our eagle fan out a little bit. I don't know if we'll be able to introduce much targeting confusion here, but let's see. Alright, so we got lots of arrows coming in on enemy cavalry already. Says my lord, I'm assuming chariots are firing at me a small amount? Well, this actually rules. If the eagles are going to be able to draw off a dragon, that's fantastic news. Let's have all of the Glade Guard in guard mode. Don't run forward. Briefly, really focus tight. Let's break these guys, and then we're going to have them all turn this way. And I think we're going to end up wanting to charge this side. I don't know what I want these Dryads to do. They're probably not going to be terribly good against Dread Knights. They're pretty bad against armor, and Dread Knights are heavily armored. So I think we're just going to keep them up over here. We could start Dragon Breathing. It has a really short range, though, and I don't actually know what... I guess throw out a quick Dragon Breath here. Let's see if we can maybe get some actual damage down. Not really. Alright, they're rampaging directly toward the spears, which is good news. And then they give up, and then they run. Okay, we don't have to worry about them anymore. Everybody turn around and shoot that. I don't really want to meet them, cavalry versus cavalry, because I don't trust my cavalry to hold up in that fight for very long. Let's throw a quick slowdown maneuver on these guys. But the Zotes could charge. Yeah, we can charge them with the Zotes. The Zotes will do just fine, I think. And then we're going to have to bring down that dragon, but we got to make sure that the Dread Knights are not a huge problem first. And actually, this is going to help a lot. So you do that. Use your smaller volley on this. And I think it's time to burn that other dragon, and then we're going to focus in on Hellebron a little bit after that. You guys should... I guess each one of you should charge a different unit of Dark Shards. Yeah, this is where things are going to get a little scary, though, is this Hellebron in the middle of our armies. I'm going to try overcasting an Amber Spear at her, see how much damage that actually does. I'm not sure. I've not used this spell all that much. Okay, well, it hard missed, so it's hard to tell. Oof, the spell casting. Alright, we're going to have to change things up a little bit, because Crone Hellebron just landed in the middle of one of my elite units and killed it instantly. Which doesn't seem like that's how that ought to go, I think, but what are we going to do about it? Okay, so you're charging there. You guys step up over here. Ariel herself is going to have to do a lot of the fighting on this one, which is a shame. Actually, you know what? The Stag Knights should just charge those greatswords. Don't worry about this. The Zotes have this under control. These guys are pretty broken up. We should definitely push armor on that. Alright, and then... yeah, on this side, we're going to have to commit to... boy. Yeah, her just landing and instantly deleting a unit is a real problem. We were kind of short on bodies to begin with. Okay, so you guys have to run over here. The dryads are going to have to attack from, I guess, like try to step out to the side at least. Hopefully these guys will move in forward far enough that that'll make sense. And then we got to refocus, I guess, on the... It's either the dragon or the crone we got to work right now. I guess the crone, she's more damaged. I'm going to put you in melee mode. Get down there and fight her. We actually have to get you over here, because we can fire stand your ground. It'll hopefully help a little bit. Okay, those guys are just about to give up. Alright, stand your ground, everyone. And you, pop all of your melee buffs. And then also we should grab... Where is that? You. You should throw up an overcasted Shield of Thorns in the middle of the team. Alright, this break happened. You guys get back here, fight a dragon. You guys are supposed to be going after that. The other dragon's coming in now. We probably want to pull the Eagle Riders back away from the Shades. So they're going to be pretty important in the overall. I'm going to actually have you guys step out. We didn't get as much of a flank as I wanted here because my units... I think my units moved too fast. We met them too far forward for that flank to fire the way I wanted. It's a good problem to have. Alright, archers. It looks like Hellebron actually lost a ton of health just in that initial charge. I maybe don't give enough credit to Sestashal. She's actually very well outfitted for combat. Keep bringing in the Winds of Magic, and this would be a good time also for... Here it is, the Curse of Anrahir. Look at the area that affects.
Children of
Right, that dragon's going to take flight, but we're already shooting at it, and hopefully we'll be able to grab that dragon shortly afterward. And this thing's going to get up and it's going to Dragon Breath us, right? That's its plan. No, don't move. Shoot at the... There. You know, shoot at the thing I'm clicking on instead of moving around. So their dragon went in to melee attack our caster, which is smart. Alright, dragon down. Where is... what's her name? Did she get defeated already? We didn't... Did we get a message? Is this her? Okay, she ran. She ran, and she's doing a pretty good job. She's getting away, that is for sure. Alright, archers reform a little bit further away from the enemies. Let's have the Zotes run around over here. We could throw up a big heal on somebody. Who needs it? Ariel's doing a fine job holding off her enemies. You guys, these Wildwood Rangers, need it real bad. Now, unfortunately, Sestashal is a large unit on account of the bird, so these Blackguard are really, really effective against her. But I think we kind of need her to stay in right now. I don't think we can actually have her disengage. Alright, so who is the next most important person to kill? I guess you guys just chase Hellebron, probably, and that's probably true for our Lord as well. Let's Dragon Breath before we leave, though. Okay, I think we probably got some friendly fire in there, and I apologize to everyone if that's the case. Right, once we kill her, I think their leadership is going to be in real bad shape.
Seizing the position.
Come on, actually use the ability. Boy, we are just kind of staring at her, huh? There we go. Alright, you lot, get over here and do some work. Actually, this is probably a pretty good time for our Lord to get in there and do this personally. Oh, never mind. It looks like they're all giving up. yeah, Hellebron's death was enough to finish it. It's called a close victory, but we kept like 75% of our force, and they kept about a third of theirs. They lost all of their really important stuff. I mean, a lot of us took a lot of damage, in particular the people who got landed on by the crone. But this doesn't seem all that close to me. Now, I think they still had a stack or two to the east, right? But this, I mean, we shattered them here. This was the spine of their army. As we've seen many, many times before, it does not take the AI very long to rebuild. They'll have 2 new stacks going in 3 turns. But honestly, they may not have 3 turns. We might be able to just actually wipe them out before that happens. I mean, I personally will have to take a little bit of a break, but my allies may wipe them out before that happens.
This is the price you pay.
Also, damn, that army had a lot of money. Now keep in mind, Nagaron's strength on the balance of power bar does include the units in the Black Arcs as military strength, but those units are unlikely to actually contribute to any battle, so they are a little bit weaker than they look on that display. Basically, I'm not worried. Man, there are dwarf armies everywhere, all over the world at all times, just ready to wreak havoc. I don't like it. I do not care for it. Also, one of their heroes attempted to wound one of my heroes and critically failed and injured herself. The Dark Elves cannot catch a break lately. Yeah, I think the bowmen thing, we're just going to have to send somebody who has lightning strike down there. I think this is definitely a time where 10 turns of 10% money, 10% bonus money is more money than 2,500 gold. And here comes our final invasion force. So a bunch of Marauder champions with very impressive great weapons, several war mammoths. A feral mammoth is just a war mammoth that isn't armored. And then a bunch of units of Famir and skin wolves. Think of them like very large werewolves. It's a bad time. This is actually a pretty scary force. That said, so is Orion, and we have 17 units in this garrison. So I think what we're probably going to do here is step just outside and lay for them a masterful ambush. And then I think that right there is where we're going to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, on Monday, hopefully we'll actually we will finish a Ritual of Rebirth and immediately begin another, and maybe, finally, once and for all, put these Dark Elves out of commission. And we'll see you then.